Hi friends, welcome back to this Homeschooling Naturopath. My name is Hannah and I'm a homeschooling mama of 3 little girls who are 9, 7, and 5, and I'm also a fully qualified naturopath living and working in New Zealand. On this channel I share content related to homeschooling, homemaking, motherhood, as well as little tidbits of naturopathic info here and there. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you guys a quick little update on how our first month of homeschooling has gone. February 2023 has been the first month of homeschool. If this is confusing to you, here in New Zealand, our summer months are December, January, and February. So that is when we have our big summer break, and as such, we start school about the end of January, start of February, and we carry on right through to about mid-December is the public school sort of terms. We also have terms instead of semesters or quarters. I mean, you can call them whatever you want. I like to call them terms, so that's what I talk about here. So I thought I would just jump on here and share with you guys how our curriculum has been going, how this past month has gone, and getting back into routine, and getting back into homeschooling after a big summer break. Yeah, all the things. If you're interested to see how our February homeschool has gone, a February update, please keep on watching. Alright, so first things first, I thought I would jump in with some of our highlights from this month. Not just in our homeschool, but in our family in general. So we actually went on a camping trip at the very start of the month, on the 1st and the 2nd of February. We went on an amazing camping trip with our homeschooling group. That camping trip was absolutely incredible. We did kayaking, we did hiking, we learned all types of really cool history of the island that we were on, and it was just such a rich, fruitful experience being with our homeschooling group and, you know, meeting all of these people that most of them we'd never met before. There was only one family there that I had known prior to going, so we made all kinds of new friends. My girls made such amazing relationships with the other kids that were there, and it was just beautiful and fruitful and so much fun. So that was the main highlight from the start of the month. Moving on, February 9th was my husband's 30th birthday, so the girls and I were busy prepping for that, getting all of his presents organized. I actually went, I decided to get him 30 presents for the 30th, mainly because I couldn't think of like a big present worthy of like 30. So we went with 30 presents for 30, and so we like spent several weeks going to different stores and buying little things here and there that he would enjoy, and he thought that was really, really neat. And then the weekend following that, we had actually planned a big surprise party for him that he knew basically nothing about up until the day, so that was pretty good planning on all of our behalfs. All of his family came down from the city they live in, and we just had an absolute blast. We invited a lot of his friends from work, a lot of his childhood friends from the city he grew up in, and it was just a really amazing time. The girls had a lot of fun setting up the party, and you know, we had all the beautiful photos and all of that type of thing. So that was also a highlight. For homeschooling, we went on a field trip to the art museum here in the city that we live in, and it was beautiful. We went along with our homeschooling group and went on a field trip, had a nice tour of the art museum, had some explanation of the art, and then went up to a special classroom and did some clay art. So that was really neat, a really fun experience, and it was also actually free for our homeschooling group, which is always a bonus. If anybody watched my last day in the life, you would have seen that it was our dog's birthday, so that was another highlight. Our little doggy is no longer a baby. He turned 2 on February 14th, so that was fun. The girls also had a lot of fun planning his little birthday day and, you know, making his birthday dinner that you'll see in that day of the life video. I'll try and link it somewhere if I can figure out how. And of course Valentine's Day was also February 14th, but to be honest, my husband and I don't. And here in New Zealand, it's not really a big thing. If you're watching this from the US, you might be like, why didn't your husband take you to dinner or whatever? here in New Zealand, it's really not a thing. We don't decorate for Valentine's Day. Kids in school don't, like, they wouldn't even talk about Valentine's Day in public school as far as I'm aware. It's not like when I was a kid in California is where I went to school in my very early years of elementary school, and you know, you made like the little like little mailboxes that you put on your desk, and then all the kids would come around and give you like a cute little card and a candy or whatever. It's absolutely not like that here. Valentine's Day is not a big thing. Like, some of the stores do sell heart-shaped chocolate and what have you, but it's really not a big deal here. We also went to the Speedway here in the city that we live in a couple of weeks ago. The Speedway, if you don't know, is literally just watching cars, like a derby, and they just, you know, race around in circles, and yeah, it's a lot of fun. That's the second time we've been in the past couple of months, and it's honestly a lot of fun. The girls really enjoy it. It's like a fun experience. It's a fun atmosphere. We go and we eat all this fried food, and we just sit and watch these cars race. It's loud, it's messy, it's dirty. You come home absolutely covered in dirt and mud. And also it can be, I mean, it's definitely like something that can be dangerous, you know, if cars crash and what have you. Dirt definitely flies up, and like big clumps of it can, like, yeah, it could be dangerous. But anyways, and then the final highlight I've got written down here for the month of February is that my husband had his first game back playing Super Rugby for the Highlanders. They had their game this past weekend, and the kids and I went along, and some of their rugby friends who they play rugby with came along as well, and so that was a lot of fun for them. And yeah, that is pretty much our family highlights, our home highlights from the month of February. And now to get into the nitty-gritty of homeschooling and homeschooling curriculum. What has gone well? What hasn't? What am I changing? What's going to be different? Let's go. Okay, so nitty-gritty, here we go. I'm going to start off with our group subjects. These are the subjects that we do all together as a family. Our group subjects at the moment consist of history, science, and art history. Those are my three top group subjects that I chose for us to do this term. And for the month of February, I'm going to share with you now how they have gone. So, first things first, I have Story of the World Volume 1. I have absolutely nothing negative to say about this curriculum. We are almost finished with it. We are still doing our study of ancient Rome. It has gone absolutely beautifully. We've done some cool art projects. We've watched some cool documentaries regarding ancient Rome. We've read a lot of beautiful books from the library about ancient Rome, as well as, of course, reading through the novel. We made some cool gladiator art last week. We've talked about the Roman gods. We did some beautiful artwork for that. Basically, we've just had a lot of discussion. It's been very fruitful for my girls, and yeah. Story of the World Volume 1, absolutely nothing negative to say. We are most definitely going to be continuing with it for the rest of the term. And if you watch my How I Teach History video, you'll see kind of a more in-depth explanation and discussion about this curriculum. So yeah, it's a winner as always. Next up, a new one that I've added to our homeschool this year is Gather Around Homeschool's Artists. I have not really taught art at all before in our homeschool. This is the first time. I'm calling this art history. That's just what I've decided to name it. And this has been going so beautifully. I didn't think my kids would be as interested in this as they are, but they are loving it. We have had some amazing discussion about some really famous artists, Leonardo da Vinci. We looked at the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper. I mean, the conversation and the imagination that starts in my kids, like, it just has been so beautiful to see how interested they are in this. We've also been listening to Mozart these past couple of weeks, and that has been really interesting. Some songs that, like, of course are super well known that I've heard so many times. I didn't even know they were Mozart. So it's been eye-opening. How we're doing it is I'm not rushing through this at all. We're only up to lesson 2, and of course we're now in week 5 of our term. So I'm only doing this once a week with my girls, and we're up to here, Leonardo da Vinci, and we studied some of his artwork, the Mona Lisa and the Last Supper here, and then Vincent van Gogh is here on the next page. But I'm actually going to be sort of taking a pause on this, and we're going to be deep diving into Leonardo da Vinci. I'm going to kind of break off and do almost a full unit study just on Da Vinci himself, who he was. I've got a beautiful book, which you may have seen in our group subject picks video, that is all about his life, who he was, where he came from, all of that. And we're going to be having some deep diving conversation into all of that before we move on to Van Gogh. So I am going to try and make this last the entire year, so I'm most definitely not in a rush to try and get through the units as quickly as possible. We are only doing this on a Friday at the moment, and that has been great, and I am really excited about this curriculum, and I'm excited to see what comes next. Okay, next up, also from Gather Round Homeschool, I have Gather Round Homeschool's Oceans unit. You guys would have seen the prep video for this. This was also in our group subjects. I had a whole video of prep oceans with me. I have been loving this curriculum. I love Gather Round in general. It is probably, out of everything we use, I would say that it's my favorite homeschooling curriculum company. I truly love what they're about. I love Rebecca and the team. We are having such a great, fruitful time with Gather Round Homeschool Oceans. I will admit though, not going to deceive you guys, I have currently shelved the student notebooks that go along with this unit. And also, what I didn't mention is that I do not have the student notebooks for artists. I did not print them out. In fact, I only bought the digital that came with one student unit, just because I knew I wasn't going to try and make my kids do a full sit down whole curriculum situation with this. This is just a read aloud for us at the moment, and that's actually what Gather Round Oceans has also become for us this past couple of weeks. We started off really strong. They got through probably about 4 or 5 lessons with filling in all of their bookwork really well, but it's just gotten to a point where it's been too much. And if you guys follow us, of course you'll see that we don't use exclusively Gather Round Homeschool. I use a lot of other curriculum as well. So Gather Round for us is just science. And at the moment, the student notebooks have just become too overwhelming. It's too much work for my girls, as well as everything else that I'm asking them to do. So currently this is just a read aloud for us in our homeschool, and that's okay. It's okay. And I need to remember that it's okay. It's fine. They are still learning so much, even if they're not sitting down, writing everything down and taking notes. Them listening and us having a discussion about it is the most important thing in our homeschool. So I just need to remember that and not worry about the money I spent or the time I put in to preparing their notebooks for them. It's okay. Loving this. We'll most definitely be finishing it, but we will no longer be using the notebooks as of the moment. This is just being used as a read aloud on a Monday and a Tuesday at the moment, as well as all of our games, all of our artwork. We're very much still doing crafts and watching documentaries, watching Octonauts and Wildcrats and all of that to back up what we've read, and also all of the YouTube videos that go along with the unit on the Gather Round Homeschool resource page. Alright, moving on now to my girls' individual subjects. I will try and link each of their individual subject videos somewhere around. I haven't figured out yet how to put it, a link in the corner, but I will try and link them down in the description box below in case you're interested to go see what I planned on using versus what we're changing now for each of my girls. I'm going to start off with my oldest, my 9-year-old, and I will link her video down below. She is in year 5, which for us here in New Zealand, year 5 is equivalent to 4th grade in the United States. So in case you were wondering, that is what year she's in. She's 9, she's in the 4th grade, or for us, it's year 5. So this is her curriculum. Okay, so first off, for language arts, you guys, again, I would recommend you go watch the other curriculum videos in case you're wondering what is even going on here. So first up, language arts, I have her handwriting book here. This is the Good and the Beautiful level 4. It is the second level of cursive. This has been going beautifully, absolutely no complaints. She does this every day and it's fun, it's interesting. Her cursive is looking amazing and I love, love, love that. She also enjoys this and yeah, no complaints. We'll be carrying on with it. Easy peasy. Next up, I've got Fix It Grammar, and this is the level 2, which is Town Mouse and Country Mouse. She doesn't love this, and I honestly assumed that she wouldn't love it when I bought it. However, it is great for grammar. It has been so amazing and easy to teach from. I mean, she is just picking up grammar left, right, and center, prepositions, pronouns, all of the things that I honestly am not even very good at. Flies through this, no problem. It honestly takes about 5 minutes every day. And this also is a 4-day curriculum, so she only does this 4 days a week, and yeah, no complaints. We're going to be carrying on with this for the time being. Okay, the next thing I have for her language arts that you'll see in her curriculum video for her year 5 curriculum was spelling UC, and I got the level D Americana. She has really, really loathed this curriculum, unfortunately. I think it's seeing her little sister, my 7-year-old, is also doing this, but the level C. And I think that for Arabella, seeing her younger sister doing the same curriculum, but seeing it be much easier for her has been difficult. This is quite demanding. There is a lot of writing in it. And honestly, she'll get about halfway and complain that her hand is sore. She doesn't find it interesting. She doesn't find it rewarding at all. She really has not enjoyed this whatsoever, and so for the time being, I've actually just gone ahead and told her that we can shelve this for the moment because, to be honest, her spelling is fine. There's actually nothing wrong with Arabella's spelling. She is a great speller, in fact, and I think this curriculum is wonderful, but for the moment it's just too much handwriting for her. And of course, I was not making her do this as well as her handwriting book. On the days she was doing this, she did not have to do any writing from her Good and the Beautiful handwriting. But yeah, she's decided now that this curriculum is really not for her, and I understand. It does look like a lot. It's a lot of handwriting, and it only gets more and more and more. So look, there's absolutely nothing wrong with this curriculum. My 7-year-old, as you're going to see soon, she's continuing it, no problemo. But yeah, just the level D I think may have been a little bit too advanced for my 9-year-old. However, the level C would have been way too, not babyish, but would have just been, too babyish for her. So I don't know, it's almost like it needs a level in between C and D that is somewhere in the middle. I don't know. Anyway, that's been my opinion, that's been her opinion of the Americana level D. So for the moment we are shelving this, and we'll come back to spelling at some point in the year. Before I move away from Arabella's language arts program, I want to add that she does grammar, she does handwriting, she was doing spelling, but we're not at the moment. And as well as doing this, she also reads. She reads a lot of books. She can easily get through a whole big chapter book within a week, and her reading is absolutely no issue for me. She's still working on expanding her vocabulary, and that is great. Reading is the perfect way to do that. And also what she has been doing lately is writing me book reports. so that she can summarize what she's been reading, and also so that I can see her spelling and her grammar and all of that coming together. And also what she loves to do is write stories. We recently got a Chromebook at the start of this month, at the start of this school year. And so when I'm working with one of her sisters, she'll just go on the Chromebook and she'll write me all kinds of creative writing stories and then send them to me. I'm able to look at them on my phone and correct any errors that she's made, stuff like that, and we go through them together. So that pretty much for the moment is her language arts program. She also goes on the Night Zookeeper mostly every day, and the Night Zookeeper is a great resource for helping with language arts. Next up for math, Arabella is on the Good and the Beautiful Math Level 3. We are most definitely continuing this. We've had no problems this past month getting back into math. She's great at math. There's no issues. I will say that it is taking us quite a long time at the moment. Our days have been very long the past few weeks, and yeah, I'm still kind of trying to find a routine that works well, especially now that I'm also homeschooling my niece virtually, adding in her individual subjects as well. I need to think about that. So what I've actually done is I had originally laid out to have math lessons 4 days a week, but instead I've actually changed our schedule to do math only 3 days a week. So that's what we're doing at the moment, and it's been great. Arabella is all up to date with her math. It's Wednesday today, and she is all finished with her math for the week. So next up, that kind of goes along with math, is Mindbenders. Arabella is on level 3. This has been going beautifully. I've got no complaints. There's nothing wrong or too advanced about this logic for her. We are only doing this on a Friday at the moment, so once she's finished her math and once she's done everything else for the week is when we'll move on to logic. And yeah, there's nothing negative that I can say. It's been going good. So moving on now to my 7-year-old, Atlanta. I will try and link her curriculum video somewhere around this video. To start off with her language arts, she is doing the Good and the Beautiful Handwriting Level 3. This is first year cursive. It has been going great. I honestly thought it would be too much for her. She's only 7, and I wasn't sure if she was ready for cursive. Her handwriting still needs a little bit of tweaking, but I couldn't in good conscience make her redo the level 2. So she really wanted to move on to cursive, and so that's why we did it. She's been going great with this. The first few pages do have some handwriting as well as cursive writing, so she's been getting that practice anyway. And yeah, we're definitely going to be continuing this. She does this every day at the moment, and there's no complaints. They only do about 2 or 3 pages. I don't really give them a set amount of pages that they have to do. 1 or 2 is fine with me at the moment. Again, this is to last us the whole year, so it's not like it's a rush. Next up, my 7-year-old is doing Spelling UC. This is the level C, Wild Tales. She actually has been thriving on this curriculum, which is a big contrast to my 9-year-old's. My 7-year-old actually loves this. She finds it fun, and you know, it's like a challenge finding all of the chunks. It's a challenge trying to get to spell all the words correctly. She really enjoys the pressure and the challenge that's been given to her with this curriculum, and honestly, it's going absolutely great. I have again tweaked this to suit a 4-day week only because the 5-day week wasn't working out well for us. It's pretty easy to change this to be a 4-day program. It goes from A all the way to E, but day C or day D of the week is draw a picture yourself and write a story about it. She writes stories all the time. Oh, the sun's really coming out now. She writes stories all the time regardless of it being in this book or not. So this is something that we're going to be skipping, and we're going to go straight to E instead. So that will make it a 4-day week, so that Friday will hopefully, ideally, be a fun Friday where we have gotten all of our work done throughout the week, and then we can chill and do our sport and our extracurriculars and not have to worry too much about getting all of our work done quickly. So yeah, no complaints for my 7-year-old. This is a great curriculum for her. And again, I guess it just goes to show you how different every child is, and how even the same curriculum can be so different for each individual child. Yeah, so we're going to be carrying this on. This has been great throughout our month of February. Next up for my 7-year-old's language arts, we started off using Fix-It Grammar. This is the level 1, the nose tree. I have no complaints about this. Again, my 9-year-old is doing it with no problems. My 7-year-old, she also had no problems with it. She wasn't complaining. In fact, she liked that she was working toward writing the whole story. She likes to look back at the last few pages and see the long story that's in it and see what she's writing, because it's a lot of writing, and I kind of made it a challenge for her, like, look, this is the story you're writing, you're correcting it all by yourself and all of that. So she actually thought it was really cool. She had no problems with it, but for the time being I have put this away for her, and she, for her language arts, is focusing mainly on spelling. That is the area I think she needs the most work in for the time being. Grammar will most certainly come, but a little bit later. So I'm definitely not getting rid of this curriculum or getting rid of anything, actually. These are just going on the shelf for the moment. And then also following the handwriting and the grammar and the spelling that my 7-year-old is doing, she also reads. She reads a book to me every day. We sit down, I listen, I'll, help her sound anything out that she has trouble with, everything like that. In fact, she normally reads at least 2 books a day, because she likes to read one with me during the day, during school, and then she also likes to read one during bedtime when the whole family is listening. So she definitely gets a lot of reading in. And then writing, she also will go on the Chromebook and write me stories, as well as write stories and creative writing in her notebook that she has. So yeah, all is going well on the language arts front for my 7-year-old. Next up for math, she is still continuing the Good and the Beautiful Math Level 2. No problems with this. This has been going wonderfully. She is moving through the lessons very quickly. She is definitely a math person. She understands this very easily. The concepts are very easy, and yeah, no complaints with this. Oh, the sun is really shining in my eyes now. Next up, in the same sort of realm of math, is her Mindbenders Level 2, which is her logic. Again, we only do this on a Friday, and she only does about 1 or 2 pages, and I've got no complaints. This is going great. Finally, the individual curriculum for my 5-year-old. Let's go. So again, if you watched my individual subjects, I'll link it somewhere, you would have seen that my 5-year-old was mainly going to be doing the Good and the Beautiful Preschool this term. We have been doing this every day for the past month, the month of February, and it was going fine. There's nothing wrong with this. This is the curriculum we have used for several months now. We've probably been using this for about 9 months, very slowly. And we have just been working through her letter sounds. We've been singing the songs every day. We've been playing games related to spelling and letters and stuff like that. And it's been going great. However, I feel like she's come to a point now where she is ready for more. She's actually been getting kind of bored of this, a little bit annoyed that we're still working on letter sounds, even though she hasn't grasped all of them just yet. But I think that she is at a point where she's ready for more. And so, for the time being, I have put this guy away. I've put away preschool, I've put away the kindergarten, and I've decided we're just going to fully stop with the Good and the Beautiful for the moment, for her. And what I've decided to move on to instead, for the time being, is all about reading level 1. I actually tried to start her on All About Reading Level 1 in about August last year. I felt like maybe she was ready to start then, but we got about 4 lessons in and it was clear that she wasn't, and that's when we went back to the Good and the Beautiful preschool. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes. We're only up to lesson 2 from this guy at the moment, but she loves it. She loves the games, and because we've done it before, she already remembers those letters quite well. So I don't know if it's just that she knows those letters really well or if she's actually ready to start this now. I'm honestly gonna see. But yeah, that is pretty much for her as far as her reading goes. That is our February update for her. We've been learning her letter sounds, and now I feel like we're at a point where maybe we're able to start actual reading lessons. We'll see. I will update you guys again in the end of March and let you know how this went for her. So along with her reading lessons, she's also been doing the Good and the Beautiful handwriting. This is the level K. She's really enjoyed this. She doesn't mind it. She finds it fun. There's a lot of cool coloring in, a lot of pictures she can draw. She doesn't do this every day like her big sisters do, mainly because I feel like it would be a bit too much, but also because the Good and the Beautiful preschool has some handwriting practice in it already, as does her math, which I'm going to show you here in a minute. So this is something that she might do once or twice a week, and she'll only do a page or 2, and honestly, look, that's enough for me. She's 5. So that pretty much covers her language arts for the moment. Reading and writing and learning letter formation is where she's up to in her language arts journey. And for math, we are still using the Good and the Beautiful Math Level K. We do about 2 lessons a week from her math, and she's still very much learning what her numbers look like, how to write them, what they look like when we're counting, and that type of thing. So yeah, I mean, I've got no complaints about this. She's got no complaints about it. We are definitely going to be continuing with the Good and the Beautiful Math Level K. And then finally for her, this is her logic. This is the Can You Find Me grades K through 1. She did the preschool Can You Find Me last year, and so we've moved up to this one for her, and this has been going really great. She also does this on a Friday, just like her bigger sisters do logic on a Friday. She loves this. She could easily sit and do like 10 plus pages of this. It's me who gets a bit bored of reading them. But yeah, this is such a great program for teaching logic. I thoroughly enjoy it, so does she, and yeah, it's going well so far for the month of February. Alright, the only other thing that I could think of to update you guys on was our read alouds, which is part of our group subjects. These are read alouds that I put in our morning basket. I didn't bring them in here with me, but I'll link the video to our morning basket. Our first read aloud that we've been reading this month is Geronimo Stilton, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, inspired by the Jules Verne novel. This started off going really well. We were really enjoying it, especially when we were covering giant squids in Gather Round Oceans. However, we've kind of come to a standstill with it. I don't know. It's not the Geronimo Stilton that my girls are used to because it's a classic tale, so it's written very differently than how a typical Geronimo Stilton book is written. And I think that they were expecting something different, as was I, to be honest. Yeah, so we are going to try and continue it, but honestly, I am of the opinion that if I'm not enjoying reading it, if they're not enjoying listening to it, then what's the point? Why are we trying to force ourselves to read a book that no one's interested in? I will most definitely, I'm happily to put it on the shelf and pack it away if we get to a point where we're all really uninterested in it. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that carries on. And the next read aloud that I was doing this past month was A Gladiator Stole My Lunchbox, which of course goes with our study of ancient Rome and our story of the world. This was really, really great. I really enjoyed the colloquial language. I enjoyed how fun and interesting it started off, but I just found it difficult to really get into the book, if that makes sense. You know, if you're a homeschool mom and you do a lot of read alouds, I'm sure you understand what I mean. And my kids have also found it difficult. We did really enjoy the first several weeks of reading this, but it, again, just like the Geronimo Stilton, we've kind of come to a standstill with it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's just time to stop picking read alouds that match up with our group subjects and just pick books that are books we want to read. I mentioned in a previous video that last year we read Holes, which was completely unrelated to anything we were studying. I just thought it would be a fun read, and it was so much fun. We honestly had the best time reading that book. Even my husband got involved and like wanted to join in, and then we made it like a huge event when we finally finished the book and we got to watch the movie. It was so much fun. So I'm looking for a book like that we can read again and really get like fall in love with, really get excited about when we go to read it. One of those books that no one wants to stop reading, you know, like, oh yay, it's morning tea time, I get to read this book. That's how I felt when we read Holes. So yeah, if you have any recommendations as to what read alouds might make us feel that way, please put them down below, because at the moment I am just stuck for ideas. I mean, you know, I'm reading all day long from all of our books, all of our curriculum. I'm literally reading for the vast majority of the day. So when it comes to a read aloud, I want to be excited about it, and I want to feel like that passion and that, you know, that flair to want to read it. And I want my kids to feel the same. So yeah, if you have any good read aloud recommendations, I would love to see them down below, please. Well, that is it for our month of February update. As you can see, most of our curriculum is going beautifully. Our schedule has, you know, needed a few tweaks here and there, and I think we're in a place now where we're in a good routine. Thank you so much for watching our month of February update, our first month back at homeschool update. That's going to be it from me. Thank you so much for joining. Please like and subscribe. I would love to have you guys here, and I will catch you all in the next video. See you later. Bye!